What is up, everyone? Welcome back. Welcome back. We are here with another one of the last few family education support groups of 2024. Oh my goodness. Like I say every week, how did it get so late so soon? But here we are with another one. And I look forward to this specific talk because it allows us to kind of do something that's very important when going through life. And that's this thing called reflection. And I'm going to distinguish between the difference between experience and reflection through the course of this talk. So while we wait for people to pop in, let me just share a few things about myself, this channel. My name is Param. I do this majority of the Saturdays of the year. Let me just put the main banner on. Right here, save. Okay. So I do this the majority of the Saturdays of the year. And good morning, Jess. And it is interactive. I don't know if it shows it when I put people's comments up, but it is interactive. So yeah, so I have a master's degree in marriage and family therapy. I'm licensed as an advanced alcohol and drug counselor. I'm one of the operating partners of an intensive outpatient treatment facility in Huntington Beach called Buckeye Recovery Network. We treat addictions and mental health. I've been there for a little bit over 12 years now. That's a long time. I teach at a local college called Saddleback. I teach a couple classes last semester, upcoming semester. And I coach high school basketball. I've been doing that for 17 seasons now. And I think more importantly for this channel, I started my recovery journey the day that I say I changed my life around back on June 13th of 2008. So it's been a beautiful ride since then, despite of not a lot of things in life going perfectly, right? So today I want to do something with the end of the year coming. And what I mean by that is sometimes people say, man, this year went by so fast. Not sometimes, all the time. People say this year went by so fast. Like the years are going by faster and faster. It is true. As we get older, our perception of time does change. However, I want to distinguish something between this talk and hopefully inspire some conversation. And that is the following statement, that experience doesn't mean anything. And I know if you are an experienced fellow and you've been through a lot in life and you've seen a lot and you might be telling me experience doesn't mean anything. How dare you say such a nonsense? Well, I'll tell you this. Experience isn't important by itself. It is when experience is reflected upon. So reflected experience is where the value is found. Because if you go through something and you don't pause to reflect back on what it is that you went through, the odds of it happening again and again and again are very, very freaking high. And if you didn't like that experience, then that's how people continue to repeat the past in their futures. However, if you go through something in life and you reflect on that experience, what did I learn? What could I have done better? What did I do well? How can I prevent this from happening? How can I make this to happen? That experience becomes the most valuable thing in life. Reflected experience. So in this talk, what we're going to do is I'm going to pick about 6 different domains of life. Things like career, personal growth, mental health, physical health, career, relationships, gratitude. And I want to reflect upon those. So I'll put some questions on the the screen, and you can answer those questions in the bar, and I'll do my best to pull it up, and we can have a discussion about it. So I do want it to be a little interactive. And the various domains we have, the first one is this domain called personal growth. Okay. And you might be saying, what do you mean reflect on my personal growth? Absolutely. And the question that I pose for this one is, what new skills did you learn in 2024? So if you have an answer to that question, please go ahead and write it in the box. But this is why this question is important, because if you are just relying on the skills that you had yesterday and yesteryear, the odds of being able to use those skills over and over again sometimes change because life is always changing. For example, if you didn't know how to use a computer 25 years ago and you said, you know what, I'm just not going to learn this computer stuff, it probably didn't work out well for you. And you probably learned how to use the computer. And now it's like, technology is moving and all that kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, this ChatGPT stuff, I'm not going to learn it. It's too much. You're probably going to have to learn how to use this stuff. And skills in the workplace are the same way. Skills in relationships. I mean, I hope that one of the skills that you learned this year was how to set boundaries. I pray and hope what you learned this year was how to effectively communicate, how to rebuild trust, all these things we talk about. If you didn't learn these, if you didn't pick up these skill sets, then what are we doing? If you were the exact same version of yourself you were last year, right now, therefore you will be next year, if anything, with a little bit of decline. Because that's what happened to us when we don't work on our personal growth. What's up, Jim? What's up, Mom, Dad? So the other one there was kind of like, what personal habit did you develop or improve? You know, that's a really important question to ask because habits just don't get created automatically. Many people, as we all know, it's a cliche, it's a joke that they start everything on January 1. They stop everything by January 9th because they don't have the habit and the skill development of consistency, right? So for that question, if anybody has an answer to that, what new skills did you learn in 2024? Feel free to post it. You know, the other thing about it too is this, is there's a question I love. One of my favorite questions to ask human beings is the following. When is the last time you tried something for the first time? When is the last time you tried something for the first time? You might be thinking to yourself, man, it's been a long time. But you want to know what? The reason why I envy children, and I think despite of the challenges of being a child, it's actually a really cool timeline of life, is because children, for the most part, at some point in their life, everything that they do, they are doing it for the very, very, very first time. Everything. Every experience they have, first time experience. Everywhere they go, first time they went there. Everything in life is for the first time. But adults, once you go through that phase, you stop doing things for the first time. And that's a skill I think you should develop. I don't like telling people they should do something, but you know what? That's a skill you should develop. Because there is something about brain plasticity and there's something about neural networks in the brain that if we are learning new things, it stays much more nimble and adaptive and creative and useful. But the law of use says what? If you don't use it, you lose it. So if you don't learn how to build new skills, eventually you're going to lose it. You're going to lose the opportunity to do so. So that's the first domain. The next domain is about mental and physical health, which, you know, for me, that's probably one of the most important things in life. And the question there says, what was the most difficult thing you had to mentally overcome in 2024? Okay. The other questions could be, how did you prioritize your mental health? How did you prioritize your physical health? But what was the hardest thing, the most difficult thing you had to mentally overcome in 2024? Now, for some of you, maybe it was getting out of a long-term relationship with a husband, a wife, a spouse. Maybe for some of you, it was leaving a job that you've been into for a long time and you weren't sure if you should go or not go. Maybe for some of you was overcoming the fact that you are powerless over the addiction of someone else. Maybe for some of you was overcoming grief and loss, the residual effects of losing a human being or even a little baby animal, you know, that means a lot to us. For some of you might be mentally having to overcome the fact that life as you knew it cannot exist anymore. There has to be a new version of life. There has to be some evolving. So I don't know what it was. If some of you write down some of your answers right there, I can help you, discuss it. But what was the hardest thing you had to mentally overcome in 2024? And by the way, if you fully haven't yet, just know it's okay. Some things take a little bit longer. Some things just don't happen in a year. It might take you 2 years, 5 years, a decade to truly, truly work through the stages. And that's okay. And also, please know this, that we all have different speeds in which we heal and recover mentally, emotionally. So if you have gone through an experience and you're still stuck, but other people aren't, have a little grace and compassion for yourself. It's okay, right? Just move at your own speed. However, always be moving towards healing. So its direction is more important than speed. If you need more time to heal, that's okay. as long as you are moving towards healing, not moving towards self-destructive behavior, not moving towards negative coping skills, not moving towards the opposite of what healing is. If you need more time doing those kind of things, it's unfortunately the pain of whatever it is that you're going through is going to continue to significantly increase, because the avoidance of pain produces more pain, and the cure for the pain is in the pain. So any feedback so far about this? I'm going to take a little swig of Waterloo. It's a soda water or sparkling water. Pretty good. No sugar or anything like that. It just has a nice little taste. You make it cold enough, kind of reminds you like a Kool-Aid in a way. At least this flavor does. All right. So nobody's going. That's okay. You can be shy today. So the next one we got here is, relationships. So I always like to teach something when I talk about relationships. And here it is. So I'm going to give it to you right now. See if I can do it in a nice, timely manner. Every relationship has a bank account. So when two people come together, so this person and this person form a relationship, there is a account that's in between them. In the beginning of most relationships, people are always depositing into this account. They're calling, they're texting, they're doing nice things, they're buying gifts, they're going out, they're spending time, quality time, they're investing in it. So imagine they're putting a bunch of deposits into this account. As a result of a lot of deposits, the account balance starts to go up. When the account balance goes up, people look at the account, they're like, wow, this feels good. However, because we get too comfortable and because we get used to things and because we get lazy and complacent, people stop depositing as much into the relationships. And listen to this quote: if you are not depositing, you are automatically taking withdrawals. So what happens is they start taking withdrawals from this account because they deposit so much in the beginning. However, you know where this is going to lead. If you continue to take out without putting in, one day this account's going to go very low and one day it's going to go broke. And when that happens, this person wants to blame this person for why the account went down. This person wants to blame this person for why the account went down. They go their separate ways and create new relationship banks with other people. So the most important relationship that you must deposit in is, and Bitajan, I'll help you with that, what you said right there. Is the relationship with yourself. So I just want to go back because going on a healthy diet. And so is this regarding to what was the hardest thing you had to mentally overcome? Is that, I just want to make sure that's what it was before I give feedback. Once she gives me the answer to that, I'll tell you guys. Because I know she's excited about that if that's the case. But I just want to share how it's not that easy to do so. Okay, good. So, the question I asked the audience right now was, what was something that the difficult thing you had to mentally overcome in 2024? And she said, going on a healthy diet, okay? And, with a big smiley face. So I'll tell you guys this. The reason why going on a healthy diet is a sense of accomplishment, because it's so many different variables go to it. One is our personal relationship with food. Every one of us has a relationship with food. Every single one of us. Some foods have memories, some foods have experiences, some foods have comfort, some foods have nostalgia, some foods have, preferences, whatever it is. We all have a relationship with food. And that relationship, sometimes we have to acknowledge, just like any other relationship, hey, my relationship with food might be unhealthy because it's impacting my energy, it's impacting my health, it's impacting my vitality, it's impacting my sleep. So once you acknowledge that the relationship isn't going well, now what we do is now we have to start to explore a new relationship. Just like everything else, when you start a new relationship, healthy dynamics. So you want to be able to include all of the important things that come with a healthy diet. I'm not going to get into it. But here's the thing. The reason why she's so excited about it is because to go from this, acknowledging the fact that your diet might not be healthy, your relationship with it might not be healthy, to go into this, it's not like a linear path. If it was, don't you think every human being on planet Earth that the doctor tells them, hey, you have to go on a healthy diet, would go on a healthy diet? Statistics says only about 5% of them do. So congratulations, Vita. I know Jim too. Jim went on a healthy diet and stuck to it for the past few years. 5%. Most people just, they don't stop. They don't care. They don't change. But here's the thing. I promise you this without even asking her another question. There is no way she went from where she was to a healthy diet overnight. It is so freaking hard. There will be setbacks. There will be relapses. There will be feelings of like being proud of yourself and feeling guilty. There's like a roller coaster. However, once you're able to identify that relationship and create a new relationship that's around health, the beauty of that is this. When you actually engage with foods or things that are unhealthy, it doesn't feel the same way. It's kind of like being with a healthy person and then spending time with someone that's like crazy, toxic, angry, like psychotic. You don't leave that feeling like, oh my God, that was so nice. You know, you kind of get revolted, repulsed by it. So that happens the same thing with food too. So congratulations on that. It's a big deal. So in regards to relationships, I was telling you guys the importance of relationships in the relationship bank is the question is, which relationship strengthened the most this year? So you think about your relationships in your life. Some of you might be lucky enough to have a mom and dad. Some of you might be lucky enough to have a spouse, lucky enough to have siblings, lucky enough to have children, friends. So what you want to do is you want to look in these relationships and see which one of these relationships strengthened this year. One of them, some of them, all of them, none of them. If the answer is not many, then that tells me that you did not invest in the relationships of your life. Okay. You didn't put time, energy, effort into improving it. And the reason why it's important is because it's one of the most important elements of life. All life is relationships. That's why with the void of relationships, oftentimes we experience things like depression. We're not meant for that. We're communal by nature. So which relationship strengthened the most this year? Like I said, I hope your relationship with yourself was number one, because dang, that's the best one. Many people are strangers to themselves, and it's so sad because they're afraid of what? I don't know. Their self-esteem is so low. Why? They might know, but they're not willing to address it. And I hope you build a nice relationship with yourself this upcoming year because you deserve it. And it's the place that everything is built upon. It's the foundation of the other relationships. And then the question says, are there any relationships you need to nurture more in the upcoming year? So the best way you do that is, I have this exercise I give sometimes to like managers. And I learned this from Pops, which is business partner's father. And we'll say that he's like a mentor of some type. And he grabs this little circle. He draws a little circle. And then what he does is he draws these lines coming out of the circle. Imagine like spokes of a wheel. And based on how close your relationship is with the person, so each spoke is going to go to a different person. And based on how close you are with that person perceived, what happens is that line is either really, really short, so you put their name, or really, really, really long, really, really far. Some are shorter, some are further. Some are shorter, some are further. And the goal is, with all the important people of your life, to do your best to make all of these lines the same size. So you're not too close with someone and you're not too far with someone. You have a nice sense of balance. So in your lives, what I would suggest or recommend is go draw a little circle. That's you. Draw all the important people that come out of your life and put a perceived distance of how close or how far you are with these people. If you see anyone's really out, anyone's really far, try to bring them in. If you see someone's way too close, try to push them out. Sorry, codependent parents with your enmeshed loved ones. You got to push them out a little bit. It's good for all. Good for all. And so that's kind of a really nice exercise that you could try. Let's see. And also the opposite of it. Who did you connect with in a meaningful way? Like, was there a person? Was there a counselor, a therapist, a friend, significant other that you connected with in a significant way or meaningful way? That just means like, it's one of those things you're not going to forget, right? We have so many experiences all day, every day. Man, can you imagine if we remembered everything? Oh, but there's some memories that we can't forget them. Usually because there's some type of a meaning associated to that memory. That memory meant something in that moment, and it still means something in this moment. And did you have one of those this year? Because if you did, that's awesome. If you didn't, oh, what a missed opportunity. That's the whole point of like going out there and making memories, is by connections, meaningful ways. So hopefully that made some sense. The next one we're talking about life. Where is it? Life balance. Okay. A few of the questions here. So balance is important. This is what I like to do personally. So you know those big calendars? They call them calendar at a glance. I'm sorry. And they might have like a 24 by 36. They're kind of big boxes for the month. Imagine getting like 5 different Sharpie colors, okay? One could be like your family, it could be work, could be recovery stuff, it could be just outside obligations, dates, doctor stuff. And the last one could be, health and fitness. And then you go on your calendar and you start to map out and draw out which days you're going to do what with the different colors. Family goes here, gym goes there, work goes here, doctor appointment goes here, social activity goes here, recovery stuff goes here. And what you want to do is at the end of the week, you want to take a look at your week and you want to see a blend of colors that are fairly balanced. Now, I get it. Maybe hanging out with a friend or seeing a family member is going to have less color in it than like going to work every day. But at the minimum, you want to see all the colors. Not the same amount, but a blend of all the colors. You don't want a color to be missing. You don't want like the color of the exercise or the color of the family or the color of self-care. You don't want those colors to be missing. Because if they are missing, that tells me you're out of balance. Because sometimes people don't know what it means to be balanced. That's what it means. That's what it means. Because if you're taking care of all that, your mind is also good and comfortable. You don't feel like you should be doing something else because it's all there. And oftentimes people say, man, that's way too structured. That's way too rigid. I can't live that way. I need some spontaneity. On some of the days, all of the days, I don't care. Put out an hour, put 2 hours. On some weekends, put 4 hours, and don't put anything in the box. I call that planned spontaneity. What a weird way to look at it, huh? Planned spontaneity. Kind of a dichotomy that doesn't make sense. But that way, when that block comes, have at it. You want to sit on the couch and watch 4 hours of Netflix in those 4 hours? Feel free to. You want to go on the park and sit underneath a tree and journal? Feel free to. You want to get in the car and drive down the PCH? Do what you want to do. You want to go try a new restaurant? Go for it. Right? But you want to make sure that the other stuff, which is the priorities, that's not the priority, are accounted for on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis. That's how you live a balanced life. So how did you manage, your week? Were you lopsided anywhere? What areas of your life felt most balanced and which areas could use adjustment? So that's kind of like fine tuning, right? It's fine tuning things, troubleshooting things with the intention of minimizing or improving, getting rid of it or making it better. That's all it is. That's all life, right? Sometimes staying the same, but I believe if you're not going forward, you're going backwards. So there's no like staying the same thing. It's stagnation I believe it's like a mirage. It's like a delusion. There is no stagnation. If you stagnate, you're already going backwards, in my opinion. So, and the question there that I wrote is, did you take enough time for relaxation and self-care? So I want to teach you something again. Relaxation is a active, conscious, mindful decision to do something that recharges your batteries. I'm not saying it's got to be active, physically active, but you got to activate the thought process of saying, by doing this, I'm going to get relaxed, rejuvenated, energized. See, if you just go and sit down and say, I'm just relaxed, you sit on the TV and just watch it for like 5 hours straight, and you're mindless. You're not paying attention to anything. You're not thinking about yourself. You're just watching. Have you noticed how sometimes you get up from that and you feel 10 times more tired? Your back hurts, your body hurts, you ate like shit. You kind of feel like you wasted the day, you procrastinated on some stuff. But have you ever noticed sometimes if you say, I'm just going to go underneath a tree and I'm going to breathe for 20 minutes, or I'm going to sit there and think about my gratitude for 5 minutes. Afterwards, you feel energized. You have more contentment, peace, satisfaction, joy. See, the time doesn't matter. It's what you do with that time is how the self-care and relaxation are actually accounted for. And people always, the first thing I always say when I say, did you self-care? Like, oh, sorry, I'm not like you. I don't have a bunch of money to get massages. Someone told me that, like a client told me that. I'm like, massages, bro? Like, who's talking about massages being self-care? My favorite thing to do is like sit down. I have to actively breathe for like 5 minutes, fill up my lungs, fill up my stomach, exhale over and over and over again until I feel like a sense of, okay. And that was free the last time I checked. I love to walk every morning, me and significant other. Put on shoes, take the dog, go on a walk every morning. Guess what? That's free. All this stuff is free. Yeah, massages are a service. You pay for them. It doesn't mean it's self-care. Does it feel good? It could. I do Thai massages, so it's torture. It's the opposite of self-care. And for those of you who understand, a Thai massage is the opposite of self-care. You lay there, and some little old lady, bless her heart, will stomp on you with her most powerful feet and rip up every knot of your body. And then they stretch you for 30 minutes, which is very intense. But so not all massages are self-care, my friends. Let's see what we got here. So did you take time for that for yourself? Or were you too busy worrying about other people? Oh, man, I hope that wasn't the case. And if it was, it's okay. It just shows that you're a caring person. It shows that you have a big heart. It shows that you have a lot of compassion. But it also shows that you don't have all of those things for yourself. Sorry to call it what it is. People that are very codependent and always doing things for other people typically don't like themselves. Honestly, at a core level, because they never spend time with themselves. They barely know themselves. That's a better way to put it. Not they don't like themselves. They don't know themselves. Because their role and their identity is the caretaker, the person who helps, the person that saves, the person that rescues. So I hope you get to know yourself a little bit on that level. The next one we have here is, what areas of your life, of your career, do you want to focus on developing in 2025? So if you have a career, I want you to think, when did I get trained for what it is that I do, right? Was it in school? Was it after school? Was it continuing education? Has it been a long time that I've learned anything? If the answer is yes, ask yourself why. Second of all, what kind of skills can you learn to get better at what it is you do? And that could be relevant for different people, right? I mean, whatever career it is you are. And some of you might be retired. And you might say, well, I don't really have a career, so what am I going to focus on? Well, I think retirement is a form of a career. Let's put it that way. Okay? I believe retirement is a career. And I think where a lot of people fall off is retirement is also known for severest deterioration of the mind and the body, and a lack of forward progress. It is a time that people kind of give up on continuing to learn and grow. So let's look at retirement like a career. And just like any career, you have to invest in it and you have to focus on different areas. You have to. Because if you don't, that's why the career is so short for a lot of people, is because they just stop. But some people, have really valuable and kind of like golden years of retirement, is because they're always doing something. They're always active. They're always healthy. They're always with people. They're always focused on how they can improve. So I hope you do that. That's a nice way to look at it. Retirement. You like that, Jim? Retirement. So all these careers you've had, my friend, I don't know when it's coming this year, though. I know it's sometime in, I don't know. It's going to be a sad moment, but I don't know, 5 months from now, we'll call it. Retirement might be coming in this form, my friend. However, a new career is starting. Now, I hope you fill that career with things you love, but you better make sure you're doing things on a regular basis. I know you will, but I'm just trying to make a point here, because a lot of people don't. They see that as an ending of something rather than the beginning of something. That was nice. So what areas of your career do you want to focus on developing? And if you didn't develop any, go develop them this year. I know we just did performance reviews for some of our staff, and some of them were talking about continuous learning and development and all that kind of stuff, because they know that if they don't focus on areas of improvement, they're not going to improve. So it's just something to all be mindful of. And the very last one that I have here is related to gratitude. We talked a lot about it a few weeks ago, but what positive experiences stood out to you from 2024? Different take on gratitude. Here's the reason why I asked that question. Kind of talked about it a little bit earlier. Positive experiences are you taking away from 2024? Remember, I told you, not all memories are created equal. When we go through something, if it's meaningful, if there's a connection, if it's just one of those moments in life, that moment never leaves us. We have it tomorrow, next week, next year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And if you look back at 2024 and you can't recall too many of those moments, I would suggest that you probably weren't connected in a meaningful way. You probably weren't engaged. You probably weren't present, and like the true meaning of presence. You probably didn't spend time with people you love. You probably didn't laugh a lot. You probably didn't take too many risks. If it was all one blur, I just think it means that you were not as enthusiastically engaged with your life. Because the more you're engaged, the more those magical moments happen. And my hope and my wish for all of you is that you create memories in 2025 that you'll be able to remember forever. That every time you share with other people, you fall down, you start laughing because it was so funny. And if you don't have those anymore, it's not that life has changed. Maybe, just maybe, you've changed with how you live this thing called life. So, sorry for the direct kind of lesson right there, but I wanted to say it in a way. We call it invisible slaps. I hope I was able to invisibly slap a few of you and say, oh my God, he's right. I didn't make one meaningful memory this year. Okay, so guess what? Roll up the sleeves, double up next year. You don't make some more, and it's going to be okay. So all that being said, I don't know next week. I think the 21st. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'll leave comments on the boards because I'm coaching high school basketball and we got tournaments back-to-back weekends. So I will do better with scheduling in the upcoming year. So I'm going to write down all the Saturdays in the month that I will be doing it, all the ones I won't. That way, proactively, you all know I'll have a schedule. And I really look forward to finishing this year strong and, more importantly, starting next year strong with each and every single one of you. I love and appreciate you. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.